Morning. Last class we have done job costing, specific order costing, and also which one? We have done life cycle costing. Life cycle costing, we have decided what price we have to fix or what should be the selling price to ensure that I mean all costs are recovered. Okay, both direct cost as well as indirect cost, pre-production cost, everything should be recovered. So what should be the estimated selling price? What should be the profit markup like that we have seen. In this class, as I was telling you, we'll move on to the chapter called as overheads. Before we start with overheads, what do you mean by overheads? Okay, there is something called as direct cost. Direct cost that includes direct material, direct labor cost. We call it as wages paid to the workers, any other direct expenses which are incurred in the production process. For example, in case of a garment making factory, let us take you are making ready-made shirts. You are making ready-made shirts. Direct material, yes, the cloth and the collar material, ironing, packing materials called as direct material. The people involved in designing, cutting, stitching, overlocking, maybe fixing the buttons, fixing the collars, fixing the label, fixing the logo. Then all these are not done by same labor, different labor. Okay. Then ironing, packing, inspection. Those people who are engaged directly in the production process, we call it as direct labor. Direct expenses may be designing expenses. Maybe let us assume I got a copyright from an international brand like Balmain Paris, or it may be FC UK, or it may be like Crocodile, Nike, like that. I have to pay for every shirt manufactured, I have to pay a royalty. So that royalty may be which one? Direct expenses. This we call it as prime cost. This we call it as which one? Prime cost. So the first cost in making the product is which one? Prime cost. Then all other things are called as overheads. All other things are called as which one? Overheads. Overheads may be related to factory. It may be related to administration overheads. It may be selling overheads. It may be selling and distribution overheads. Okay, so factory overheads, administration overheads, and selling and distribution overheads. What are they? Simple. The direct material, the cloth, button, maybe the collar material, the labeling material, the packing materials, and all we call it as which one? Direct material. What is a factory overhead then? What is an administrative overheads then? What is a selling and distribution overheads then? Simple. All indirect material. What do you mean by indirect material? Material that cannot be traced. So, indirect material, you cannot find or trace it directly with output. You cannot trace it directly with output. Then what is this indirect material? For example, in case of a shirt making factory, the cloth, the ironing and packing material can be called as direct material. Indirect material is consumed in the factory, like diesel consumption for machine or power generators, which may be like the cleaning material, the waste materials, oil, grease, etc., consumed in the production process. That is not traceable with product. That is not traceable with output. That is called as which one? Indirect material. Indirect wages. See, workers engaged in production, like workers engaged in ironing, packing, stitching, those people we call it as direct labor. Then what is an indirect wages? Indirect wages are not part of your direct cost, otherwise you cannot trace with an output or product. Example, security guard salary, supervisor salary, the people who are involved in cleaning the factory, electricians, plumbers, fitters, repairmen. Okay, they don't directly engage in production, but without their support, we cannot do that. So that is part of which one? Factory overheads. Then all other factory expenses. Clear? So factory overheads means all indirect consumption in the material, there is material in the factory, Indirect wages and all other factory expenses, you call it as which one? Factory overheads. This is called as factory cost. This is the cost which we will take it for inventory valuation. This is the cost we will take it for inventory valuation. These factory overheads may be fixed or variable. These factory overheads may be fixed or which one? Variable. Do you understand what you mean by factory overheads? Then administration overheads are otherwise called as office overheads. For example, if you take TVS Motors, they are having the administrative office in Chennai. They are having the factory in Hosur and various parts of the country. Clear? So factory overheads means expenses incurred in the factory. Administration or office overheads means the expenses which are spent at the corporate office, which may be like directors' fees, office expenses, then all the stationery consumption in office, audit fees, okay, and CEO, CFO, etc. salary, legal expenses, accounting charges. Okay, so like this, any expenses, office maintenance expenses, which may be rent and other expenses, they are called as office and administration overheads. Selling and distribution overheads are spent either for selling the product or distributing the product, which may be related to marketing, all advertisements, etc. given. Salesman salary, showroom expenses, delivery charges, carriage outwards. All these are called as what? Selling and distribution overheads. Add administration and selling and distribution overheads. You get which one? Total cost. You get which one? Total cost. Okay, so we understand overheads can be which one? Factory overheads, administration or office overheads, selling or distribution overheads. Selling or which one? Distribution overheads. Okay, we get the total cost of the product against which we compare the revenue to find out the profit or loss. So this is how the overheads are classified. Overheads are classified. Okay, the chapter is going to deal with which one? Overheads. What is there to learn about overheads? What is there to learn about overheads? There are a lot of things to learn about overheads. Okay, how to assign overheads or how to charge overheads for different products. That is what we are going to learn in overhead chapter. For example, let's assume colleges are running with three departments: Department A, Department B, Department C. Department A, Department B, Department C. What is a Department A? Which may be a commerce department. B may be a computer science department. C may be like humanities department or social science department or history department, like that. A college is run with three departments. Direct cost can be directly assigned. What do you mean by direct cost? Books given to students, materials given to students. Okay, examination materials it can be. It can be examination materials, or it can be any material that is handout or printout given to the students. That can be directly assigned. Direct labor cost, like wages paid, salary paid to the faculties who are working in commerce or computer science or electronic science, can be directly assigned. Any other direct expenses, which may be departmental exclusive expenses, like laboratory charges, okay, departmental culturals, departmental seminars, departmental workshops that is conducted exclusively, okay, examination fees, internal assessment fees, okay, which may be a project appraisal fees. Those things can be directly assigned. So direct cost, there is no problem. Direct cost can be directly assigned to the concerned departments. It is direct. Direct means traceable, directly allocated. So there is no problem with respect to which expenses? Direct expenses. All direct costs are directly assigned or allocated. We call it as a traceable cost. Direct costs are otherwise called as which one? Traceable costs. Why they are called as traceable cost? They are allocatable or chargeable to the department concerned. The problem is overheads. In a college, what kind of expenses which are not specific to department, which are common to different departments, not specific to a particular department, but common to all the departments. Principal salary, general maintenance of the college, general advertisements of the college, college sports day expenses, annual day expenses, general maintenance of the college. Okay. Electricity paid for the college as a whole. We don't pay for each department separately. We pay for the college as a whole. So electricity amount spent for the college as a whole. Okay. There may be intercollegiate culturals, not departmental culturals, intercollegiate culturals. So those things are specific to department or general to the college. It is general to the college as a whole. It is general to the college as a whole. So overheads, all these overheads, okay, need to be apportioned. All these overheads need to be apportioned. In case of a factory, let us assume we are having 3 or 4 departments. Okay. For each department, there is a product, there is a work, there is a different labor, different machine. Okay. These costs can be directly allocated. Let us assume I am manufacturing 3 products. One is men's ready-made shirts, men's ready-made pants, then kids ready-mades like that I manufacture. Okay. So let us assume cloth, I can identify directly how much is consumed for men's shirts, pants, and kids. Wages, workers engaged in production, I can easily identify. Any other direct expenses, I can directly identify, I can allocate. So direct expenses are allocated. In the same factory, all these are produced, all these are manufactured. Machine is common, stitching machine is common. Okay. Factory lighting, heating, electricity is common. Factory rent is common expenses. What about supervisor's salary? That is also common. That is also which one? Common. Okay. It can be administrative expenses. It can be selling expenses, which are commonly spent for all the products together. All the products together. We have to apportion. Apportion means share on a suitable basis. Share on a suitable basis. How to share it on a suitable basis? That is what we are going to learn in overheads. So overheads, we are going to classify based on the function. This is called as functional classification. Factory, administration, and which one? Selling overheads. Overheads can also be classified according to nature. Fixed overheads, variable overheads, semi-variable overheads. Like this, we can classify according to nature. For example, in factory, certain overheads are changing according to the number of hours operated, number of units produced. Only when you use those overheads will come. They are called as variable overheads. Certain overheads, whether you produce or not, whether you manufacture or not, whether you shut the factory or run the factory for a day, that overheads will come like rent and other things. Okay. Semi-variable, partly variable and partly what? Fixed. We call it as mixed cost. That will be there in factory administration as well as what? Selling overheads. So according to nature, these 3 overheads can be classified. In factory, you can find all the 3 types. Administration or selling also, you can find all the 3 types. I request you to copy this, then we will proceed. Must to copy this. It's one of the most important topic. In the material, it is discussed for about 20-30 pages. In one page, it is covered. You must copy this, then only we can proceed. Please copy it. Please copy this. We'll proceed. Shall we?
Yes, sir.
Shall we? Okay. Let me to go with the distribution of overheads. You can also take it along with me. Distribution of overheads. Okay. For the purpose of distribution of overheads, I classify the departments into production departments and service departments. Okay. What is a production department? That manufactures products, or it can be rendering output to customers. They are called as which departments? Production departments. What do you mean by service department? That is not rendering service to customers. Please remember, service departments do not render service to customers. Service departments render service to which department? Production department. Okay, let's assume in a company there are three production departments, A, B, C, like that. There are three production departments and two service departments, X and which one? Y. For example, Department A, as I was telling you, manufactures which one? Ready-made shirts for men. B, ready-made pants for men and the mari. C, manufactures which one? Kids garments. Okay, which may be men's garments, women's garments, kids garments also. For example purpose, I'm using, that's it. Okay, so A, B, C. X and Y, what is the department X? That is a stores department. What do you mean by stores department? Where all your direct and indirect materials are being stored. All your direct and indirect materials are stored in the stores department. So whenever the department A requires, they will ask X to transfer the raw material, direct or indirect material in the market. B also, C also. So X will render service to what? A, B, C. Whenever material is required, they will send it. Whenever indirect materials are required, they will send it. Whenever some consumables are required, they will send it. So X is like a stores department. Y is like other facilities department. Other facilities department means whenever there is a repair of machine, they will attend to it. It can be department A or B or C. Okay, or department Y will send people to address to the issues like cleaning the material, moving the material, okay, cleaning the factory, cleaning the machines. Okay, if there is a problem, they will send workers for solving the issues like that. So service department do not render service to customers, do not render service to external customers. Service department customers are production department. They are there to work for which department? Production department. Okay, there can be one department, two department, or multiple departments also. Okay, so production departments, and which one? Service departments, like that we classify. Okay, direct expenses, it can be material or it can be any direct expenses. Direct expenses of X and Y we consider. Okay, and not for production departments. Take direct expenses of only which department? Service department. It can be material or wages, any expenses of which department we take? Direct expenses we allocate directly. We allocate directly to which department? Service department, and not to production department. What is the reason? Are we dealing with total cost or overheads now? We are dealing with overheads only now. We are not dealing with total cost. So, distribution of which one we are going to learn? Overheads we are going to learn. So, any direct expenses which is incurred in the production department, that is not an overhead. That is a direct cost, prime cost. But any expenses incurred in the service department, that is an overhead for production department. Service department expenses are overheads to production departments. So allocate only to service department. Then indirect expenses, we call it as overheads, apportioned on a suitable basis. For example, we pay rent, we pay electricity, okay, there may be supervision, okay, there may be canteen expenses, okay, there can be electricity for heating and lighting. Electricity, this is like power consumed by machines. Rent paid for the factory. There can be supervision expenses, canteen expenses, heating and lighting expenses. Indirect material will be there. Indirect labor cost will be there. Okay, like this, we'll find so many indirect expenses. What to do? Simple. Apportion means share on a suitable basis. On what basis we'll allocate or apportion rent? On what basis we can allocate the rent? Based on the floor area. Based on the floor area, allocate to production department, apportion it to production department as well as to which department? Service department. Sir, why direct expenses alone you don't consider for production departments? Please remember, we are not dealing with total cost now. We are learning about which one now? Overheads only now. So direct expenses are not overheads. But direct expense of service departments are overheads incurred for which department? Production department. So rent based on floor area we apportion. Power based on horsepower of machines we apportion. What about supervision? How to apportion supervision? Can you tell me? Supervision of workers, how to allocate? Workers working in both production and service departments, how to apportion supervision expenses? Sir, factory there are 5 departments. A, B, C are in manufacturing, X and Y are providing which one? Service to production department. How to apportion supervision expenses? Based on number of workers. Canteen expense also based on number of workers we can apportion. Number of workers working in each department, canteen expenses we can apportion. Heating and lighting in the factory, okay, sometimes you have to heat or air condition or you have to go for lighting expenses. It can be based on number of AC or light points. This can be apportioned based on area also. This can be apportioned based on what? Area also. Indirect material consumption, like thread consumption, needle consumption, the wax they use it for stiffness. Okay, sometimes they use certain material in the machines like lubricating oil, grease, certain spares which are frequently worn out like belts, all those things. Clear? Belts used in the machines. Those are allocated based on direct material. Indirect labor can be allocated based on direct wages cost. So like this, we apportion which one? Common expenses on a suitable basis. This we call it as total overheads. This we call it as which one? Total overheads. This is known as primary distribution. This is known as which one? Primary distribution. What is primary distribution? Take the direct expense of only which department? Service department, not production department, because we are not dealing in total cost. We are dealing in only in which one? Overheads chapter. Okay, then indirect expenses are apportioned on a suitable basis. Okay, what is a suitable basis? Depending upon what is the expense, what is the basis available, allocate it. Okay, if no basis is available, then apportion based on direct material or direct wages. In the examination question, they give you some overheads, but there is no suitable basis available or given. Then you can apportion based on which one? Direct material or which one? Direct wages. You get the total overheads. And please remember, this is called as primary distribution. This is called as which one? Primary distribution. So when there is a primary distribution, there should be secondary distribution. What is a secondary distribution? Service departments. What is the purpose of having service department? Is it to render service to customers? No. It is to render service to which department? Production department. The service department expenses will be reallocated to production department. For example, X is rendering stores, that is handling raw material stores, etc. and all. Whenever it is required, it will be given. It's like a godown. It is like a warehouse or storage facility. It is rendering service to ABC. Okay, X is rendering service to ABC now. 50%, 30%, 20% or equal ratio, like that. The proportion in which the service is rendered, excess expenses will be reallocated to which department? Production department. That is called as secondary distribution. Secondary distribution, where service department expenses are reallocated to production departments. For example, excess expenses will be reallocated to ABC. Y's expenses will be allocated to ABC. So service department expenses will be redistributed to which department? Production department. Okay, so where it will be reduced from service department and it will be added to production department. It will be added to which department? Production department. Sir, what is the basis of allocation? Depending upon how much of services are availed or used. How will you allocate this? Depending upon what? The proportion of services used. If you allocate, you will get total overheads. Including service department. So this will become 0. Because we are going to reallocate the service department cost to which department? Production department. So total overheads will become what? 0. So how to deal with overheads? Take direct expenses of which department? Service department. Direct expenses of service department is an indirect cost to production department. What is the direct expenses? If there is any raw material or wages consumed in which one? Service department. Okay, that becomes which one? Indirect expense for production department. Why are we not taking for production department? Because we are not dealing in total cost. As of now, we are dealing about which one? Overheads only. Then indirect expenses, overheads, are apportioned on suitable basis. What is a suitable basis? Depending upon the nature of expense. Depending upon the nature of expense. If no basis is available, the apportion shall be based on which one? Shall be based on which one? Direct material or direct wages. But the best method is direct wages. Why is that direct wages? The reason is more production, more wages. More production, more wages. More production, more overheads. For example, department A, B, C or X or Y, you spend more. Why? You spend more in wages. Why? Because there is more production. And there is more production, more wages. So according to that, expenses can be apportioned. Then you get total overheads. What is the secondary distribution? Service department expenses are reallocated to which department? Production department. So out allocated based on how much of services of X is used by ABC, how much of Y services are used by ABC. X's expenses may be in the proportion of like A uses more 50%, B uses less 30%, C uses the least not 20%. And the மாதிரி you can apportion the expenses and get the total cost. And this is the total overheads including which one? Service department overheads. This is the total overheads including which one? Service department overheads. Okay, this will be charged to the customers. This will be charged to the customers. I request you to take up this, then we will proceed. Those who are accessing recording, please pause, copy this, then they can proceed to the next one. Shall we do a problem based on this? Shall we do a problem based on this?
Yes, sir.
Look at this question. A factory has 3 production departments P1, P2, P3 and 2 service department S1 and S2. The following overheads and other informations are given to us. Rent, repair, depreciation, lighting, supervision, fire insurance for the stock is given, ESI contribution is given, power is given. These are the data available to allocate what overheads? To allocate which one? Apportion overheads. For example, look at the area ratio. 400 is to 300 is to 270 is to 150 is to 80. What is the total of area? 400 plus 300 plus 270 plus 150 is to 80. In this ratio, what will be allocated? Rent will be allocated. Rent will be allocated like that. I request you to prepare a chart like this. Okay, primary distribution of overheads, have particulars and how many columns? These columns, it's like P1, P2, P3. Then we've got S1, S2. They don't ask you to do work out total cost. They just ask you to apportion the overheads on a suitable basis. Can you try to work out? Try பண்ணுங்க பார்க்கலாம். So I request you to maintain the columns. I request you to maintain the columns like P1, P2, P3. For example, rent. Like this, I request you to work out rent based on which one? Floor area. Okay, what is the ratio? This 400 is to 300 is to 270 is to 150 is to 80. Like 40 is to 30 is to 27 is to 15 is to 8. Like this, I request you to apportion. Okay. For example, power can be based on which one? Horsepower of plant. 6 is to 4 is to 3 is to 15 is to 5 on the ratio. 60 is to 40 is to 30 is to 15 is to 5. That ratio you allocate. ESI contribution can be based on which one? Direct wages. ESI, state insurance contribution, is based on which one? The contribution by employer is based on which one? Wages paid to the workers. Fire insurance on stock can be based on which one? Stock value. Supervision can be based on number of workers. Fire insurance on stock depends on which one? Stock value. And ESI contribution based on which one? Wages. Normally, employer pays as a percentage of wages. As a percentage of which one? Wages. Then supervision can be based on which one? Number of workers. Number of workers. Lighting, check whether light points are available. Light points, AC points are available. No, that is not available. Then it can be allocated based on area. It can be allocated based on area. Then depreciation shall be based on which one? Value of machine. Repair also shall be based on which one? Value of machine. So I request you to have these columns, particulars and 5 columns, and allocate the overheads and tell me the total answer. Try பண்ணுங்க பா. You must try. It's a classroom work. You must try. Don't wait for my answer. You work out. Those who are accessing recording, please ensure to pause and solve the problem, then continue. Just அப்படியே copy பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறது. Just if you keep copying, it will not work. So I request you to please pause and work out this question, then proceed from now. Rent can be based on area. Rent can be based on which one? Area. Then repair is based on which one? Value of plant. And the ratio allocate பண்ணுங்க. Depreciation, again we calculate depreciation as a percentage of machine value. Lighting and heating, they should have given number of light points, AC points. They have not given. So based on area, because the lights, the light consumption or the power consumption for light depends on which one? The size, area. Supervision is based on number of workers. Fire insurance on stock. You insure the stock based on, insurance premium is based on which value? Stock value. ESI, employee state insurance contribution. It is based on which one? Wages. Wages into some 5%, 10% like that they contribute. A portion based on wages. Power based on which one? Horsepower of machine. So apportion this and tell me the total cost. Any answer from your end? Live online friends, any answer from your end? Recorded class students, ensure to work out, then only you proceed from now. Okay, time to give my answer. 1 minute. Check your answer. Rent based on area, that 6,000 is allocated based on which one? Area. This 400 is to 300 is to 270 is to 150 is to 80. Repairs based on the value of plant. What is the value of plant? 72 is to 54 is to 48 is to 6. Like that. Depreciation based on the same plant value. Lighting, since light points are not available, based on what area we allocate. Supervision based on number of workers. Fire insurance for stock based on which one? Stock value. Employee state insurance contribution, as I told you, it is a percentage of wages. Power based on which one? Horsepower of machines. So we get after allocation 11,350, 8505, 6825, 2910, and what? 1610. This is the total overheads. This is known as which one? Primary distribution, where we apportion the expenses both for production department and what? Service departments. Check your answer. Otherwise, correct your answer. If there is anything wrong, then we will proceed. If there is a doubt, please ask me. Shall we? So in this, we have understood how to do which one? Primary distribution. Next, we will move on to secondary distribution. Okay, primary as well as what? Secondary distribution, let us do. Shall we proceed? Any doubt in it? Any doubt in it? Look at this question. In an engineering factory, the following particulars have been extracted for the quarter ending 31st December 2025. Okay, 31st December 2025. Compute the departmental overhead rates for each of the following departments. There are 3 production departments. This was like the base example I gave you, and 2 service department. We are given the basis: direct wages, direct material, number of workers, then electricity in kilowatts, asset value, light points, area square feet is given to us. Okay, expenses for the period is given to us. Power and lighting is given. Stores overheads, welfare of staff, depreciation, repairs, and general overheads, rent and rates are given to us. These expenses have to be apportioned to various departments on a suitable basis. For example, power based on which one? Horsepower of machines. Whether horsepower of machine is given? Yes. Electricity kilowatt. Electricity kilowatt is given. Okay, nothing but energy consumption kilowatts given. Lighting based on number of light points you can apportion. Stores overheads based on value of stock. Value of stock, that is material. Depreciation can be based on asset value. Okay, stores overhead based on which one? Value of material stored. Depreciation can be based on asset value. Repairs based on which one? Asset value. General overheads can be apportioned based on direct wages, because more work, more wages, more general overheads, like that. Rent and taxes can be allocated based on area. Rent and taxes can be allocated based on area. So what I request is have particulars and 5 columns. Particulars, maybe extra column, total, the basis in which we are going to apportion, then department A, B, C, then X and Y. I told you, you have to take direct expenses. Direct expenses like wages for service departments, 15,000, 30,000. That is given in the first table. Then direct material, because it may be direct expense for the service department. Whatever is spent in service department is an indirect expense for production department, 22,500, 22,500. Then apportion the expenses. Power based on which one? Electricity kilowatts. Lighting based on number of light points. Stores overheads based on direct material. Then welfare of staff based on number of workers. Depreciation can be based on which one? Asset value. Then repairs can be based on which one? Value of machines. General overheads can be allocated based on direct wages. Rent and rates can be allocated based on what? Area. So maintain particulars and these columns. For all the other expenses, you can start apportioning. Okay, like indirect expenses. What is the first one? Power 1100. Basis is which one? Kilowatt hours. Apportion for A, B, C, X and Y. Okay, so do that and tell me the total. Service department expenses, how to reallocate, I will come to that later. The last 2 lines as of now ignore. I request you to work out based on the other one and tell me the total, then we will proceed. This chapter, it's like you work more than I work less in the chapter. So I request you to apportion the overheads and tell me. Direct wages and direct material, take it only for X and Y. All other indirect expenses, apportion on a suitable basis and tell me. recorded class students, ensure that you are passing now, solving up to the end of primary distribution, then proceed to check your answer. Live online friends, please work out, please work out. Please try. Complete பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? Shall we discuss? Hope you tried it. Material wages taken only for service department. Power, lighting, stores, welfare of staff based on number of workers. Okay, staff welfare like canteen expense mari based on number of workers. Sorry, I hope I told wages earlier. No, it's number of workers. Depreciation based on asset value, repair based on asset value. General overheads, I told you best method is go by what? Wages. More work, more wages. So general overheads can be based on wages. Rent and rates based on area. This is a total after primary distribution. This is a total after which one? Primary distribution. I request you to correct or copy, then we'll proceed. If there is any doubt, please unmute and ask. ஏதாவது டவுட் இருக்குங்களா? Any doubt in this? Material wages, we take it only for service department because whatever we spend in service department may be a direct expense to the service department, but an indirect expense to which department? Production department. Then all other expenses apportioned on a suitable basis. Power based on kilowatt, lighting based on light points, stores based on material, welfare to staff na nothing but tea, coffee, refreshments given. Okay, based on number of workers, depreciation based on asset value, repair based on asset value. General overheads, why direct wages? In factory, wages are influenced by the volume of work done. So more work, more wages. So general overheads also in the factory, more work, more overheads will come. That's why direct wages and general overheads are related. Rent and rates based on area. This is called as primary distribution. What is secondary distribution? Reallocating service department expenses to production department. Reallocating which one? Service department expenses to which department? Production department. That I will do. First, I request you to copy the answer or correct your answer. So let us take expenses of X. Expenses of which department? X. They ask you to allocate expenses of Y according to direct wages, X in the ratio of 5:3:2. So expenses of X, what is expense of X? This 41,530, allocate in the ratio of 5:3:2. So this 41,530, allocate in the ratio of 5:3:2 to the production department. Expenses of Y, this 57,520, allocate on the basis of direct wages. Allocate on the basis of direct wages means 30:45:60. 30:45:60. That ratio try to allocate. So what is secondary distribution? Reallocating service department expenses to which department? Production department. 1 minute. So expense of X 41,530 we allocated in 5:3:2. Expenses of Y we allocate in 2:3:4 ratio. 2:3:4 ratio. Expense of X 5:3:2 ratio. Expense of Y 2:3:4. How 2:3:4? This ratio. 30,000, 45,000, 60,000. 30, 45, 60 can be written as 2:3:4. 2:3:4. So we get total overheads for the production departments. So what is the total overheads? Department A, B, C. What is the total overheads? 51,247, 45,962 and 46,441. This is the total overheads. This is what I was discussing at the beginning. How to allocate the expenses. First do the primary distribution. Secondary distribution. Service department expenses are reallocated to production department where total overheads including service department cost we get. That is what we had seen here. We have done primary distribution. We have done secondary distribution where service department expenses are reapportioned to which department? Production department, where we get the total overheads of the production departments. Now, what should we do with this? What should we do with total overheads? Now, this overheads will be absorbed whenever you come with a production order. Have we taken up this? Both primary and secondary distribution?
Yes, sir.
We get the total overheads for which departments? Production departments. Okay. For example, a customer comes with an order. a customer comes with an order. This order requires processing in all the three departments. Department A, some work to be done. B also some work to be done. C also some work to be done. Let's assume this will consume for A, B, C. This order will consume raw material 500, 300, 100 like that. It will consume wages 200, 200, 100 like that. It will take some hours of work. It will take some hours of work. Okay, it will take raw material and wages to be consumed. We have to quote the price to the customer. We have to quote the price to the customer. Okay, what is the raw material cost in total? What is the raw material cost in total? 500 plus 300 plus 100. What is the wages? What is the wages? 200 plus 200 plus 100. Then we have to add overheads also. How much of overheads you will charge to the customer? How much of overheads you will charge to the customer? We know total overheads, but this is a job order. This is a job order, not the total work. For this customer, we will consume material 900, wages 400 like that. For the customer, how much of overheads you will add, then how much of profit? Let us assume we maintain a profit margin of 20%. So we want total cost. We want which one? Total cost. With that, we want to add profit margin and charge the customer. Total cost plus profit, we want to charge to the customer. How much of department A's overheads, B's overheads, and which one? C's overheads you will charge. How to charge the overheads? How to charge the overheads? Simple. Overheads can be charged based on direct material. What is the direct material consumption? What is the direct material consumption? Look at the direct material consumption. 15,000, 30,000, 30,000. 15,000, 30,000, 30,000. 15,000, 30,000, 30,000. If you work out the percentage, how to work out the percentage? How to work out the percentage? Simple. How to work out the percentage? How to do the percentage? 51,247 divided by 15,000 into 100. This is a percentage. 341%, 153%, 154% like that. We get the percentages. This is the percentage of overheads based on which one? Direct wages. So in department A, how much of material is consumed? 500 into 341.65%. 500 into 341.65%. How much of material consumed? 500 into 341.67 percentage. That is the overheads of department A. Department B, how much of material consumed? 300 into 153.2%. 153.2%. Because material to overheads proportion, if you look at, this is the proportion. So we'll charge the customer like that. So we consumed 300 of material into 153.2 like that. Department C, how much is consumed? 100 of material is consumed into 154.8%. 100 rupees material, proportion is 154%. So 100 rupees material into 154.83%. So if we add up material plus labor plus overheads, we get the total cost. With that, you will add the profit margin and charge the customer. Profit margin is 20%. This into 0.2. We will charge the price to the customer. Okay. We'll quote the price for the job is 8189 like that. I repeat. We have done primary distribution and got the total. What is total? A, B, C, X, Y total. Primary distribution total we got. Then we reallocated cost of service department to the production department. 51,247, 45,962, 46,441. Total overheads we got. The overheads can be absorbed from the customer based on direct material. This is a percentage. Simple. You go to a jewelry, you purchase an ornament, they put making charges, they put making charges as a percentage. 5%, 10%, 3%, 20% like that. Here the percentage is 341%. Department A, whatever is material consumed into 341%. Department B, whatever is the material consumed into 153%. Department C, whatever is the material consumed into 154%, like that we work out. We add up, we get the total cost. Material plus wages plus overheads gives us which one? Total cost. We add the profit margin of 20% and quote the price to the customer. So the first method, we absorbed overheads based on direct wages. We absorbed overheads based on which one? Direct wages. Overheads are absorbed based on, material. Based on which one? Or raw material. The overheads also can be absorbed based on wages also. Overheads can be absorbed based on which one? Wages. Total overheads we know, divided by what is the direct wages. See the direct wages. How much? 30,000, 45,000, 60,000. 30,000, 45,000, 60,000. Earlier we have done overhead absorption based on which one? Overhead absorption based on which one? Direct wages. Direct material. We can absorb the overheads based on, based on which one? Direct wages also. So if you work out the percentage, which one? The percentage. This is a percentage of wages. Total overheads divided by wages into 100 gives us this percentage. So if you want to absorb based on wages, raw material cost is 900, wages are 500, overheads how to absorb? Simple. In department A, how much consumed? 200 into 170%. I repeat, 200 is the wages in department A. This into how much? 170%. Department B, we consumed or we spent 200 of wages into 102%. 102%. Then 100 into 77%. So you add up, you get the total cost. You add up which one? Total cost. Then add 20% profit margin. Add which one? 20% profit margin and quote the price. Okay. The first one, we absorbed overheads from the customer. Based on which one? Raw material. Okay. Second one, we absorbed overheads based on which one? Based on wages. Simple. Total overheads divided by direct wages into 100 gives us percentage, which means if wages are 30,000, that into 170% is this overheads. Like that for each department we work out and we charge our customers. Okay. So which method should be followed? Should we absorb overheads based on material? Should be absorbed based on wages? It depends upon the nature of work. It depends upon which one? Nature of work that you do. For example, in case of diamond polishing and cutting, gold ornament making, wherever material is most important, you can absorb the overheads based on wages. Wherever work is important, for example, let us take a silk sari. Okay, a dress. What is the difference between a normal silk sari, which is sold for 10,000, pure silk sari sold for 10,000, and artwork done silk sari which is sold for 1 lakh? Material is same, but the amount of work that is involved is more in type 2 sari, where you will absorb the overheads based on wages. You will absorb the overheads based on which one? Wages. So in a product, what is important? Material is important. Material is deciding the quality. Material will decide buying. Material only will decide buying. Material is most important value. Na? Absorb the overheads based on which one? Material. Sir, material is okay. Some quality should be maintained, but work, the amount of work that you do determines the output, the buying behavior of the customer. Na? Then wages. More work done, more wages will be there. You can absorb the overheads based on which one? Wages. There are other methods also. I will come to that later. Now, to sum up, listen. First, what do we do? Primary distribution. We take service department expenses, direct expenses, then indirect expenses we apportioned and we got the total. Then what do we do? X and Y do not have customers. Their customers are production departments. We reallocate expenses of X and Y to production department. X's expenses and Y's expenses are reallocated to which department? Production department. Then we get the total overheads. Total overheads of A, B, C we get. What to do with total overheads? Whenever a job order is coming, we should know how much of overhead should be charged to the customer. For example, a customer comes with an order that requires raw material to be consumed in 3 departments, processed in 3 departments, and wages also we incur. Raw material 500 plus 300 plus 100 raw material, wages 500. How to charge the overheads to the customer? If we find this work or this product is material intensive, otherwise quality of material will decide what? Quality of material will decide the consumer buying behavior na, or it decides the value of the product na. Absorb the overheads based on what? Absorb the overheads based on material cost. Total overheads divided by direct material into 100, we got 341%, 153%, 154%. So based on that, overheads will be absorbed. Based on that, overheads will be absorbed. Department A 500 into this 341%. Department B, Department C, we absorb the overheads. We get the total cost, add profit, we get the total price. Okay. If it is based on wages, for example, my industry or my product, the amount of work that I do, the artistic work, cutting, carving, finishing work, the amount of work that I do will decide the selling price of the product. I was using an example like silk saree or interior decoration like that. Then absorb the overheads as a percentage of which one? Wages. Total overheads divided by total wages into 100, that gives us this percentage. So 200 into 170%, 200 into 102%, 100 into 77%. We absorb the overheads. We get the total cost, add the profit, we get the price. This is based on which one? Wages. So will you go by material based absorption or wages based absorption? Depending on what? Nature of work done in the product. So in this class, we learned about what is the meaning of overheads, what are the different types of overheads, factory, administration, selling overheads, how to apportion the overheads, primary distribution, how to reallocate the overheads of service department to production department. We call it as what? Redistribution. Then we also understood how to find out what? The percentage. The percentage can be based on material or can be based on wages. There are other bases also, which I will cover up in subsequent sessions. Then how to charge the price for the customer. So charge for your direct cost, charge for your indirect cost on a suitable basis, get the total cost, add the profit and quote the price. Add the profit and what? Quote the price. Sir, price is different. Yes, because method of absorption of overhead is different. Method of absorption of overhead is what? Different. I request you to copy this. Next, what I will do is I request you to solve this question at home. Production department ABC கொடுத்திருக்காங்க, service department cost கொடுத்திருக்காங்க, indirect material, indirect wages production department is given, service department கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Then we are given rent, repairs, depreciation, lighting, supervision, insurance, etc. is given. The following data is available. ABC 3 production department, only one service department, only one service department கொடுத்திருக்காங்க, rent, repairs, depreciation, lighting, supervision, etc. Apportion the above cost on various departments to various departments on which one most equitable method னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. Try this at home. Try this at home. The solution will be there in the class video itself in the next 5 minutes. Okay, you can just solve this question. Solution I will just discuss in the next 5 minutes of this video. For example, rent will be allocated based on area. Okay, repair also. Repair will be allocated based on which one? Value of plant. Depreciation also based on which one? Value of plant. Then supervision based on which one? Number of employees கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Insurance can be based on which one? Insurance can be based on value of stock. Employers insurance, employees insurance, அதுக்கு based on which one? Wages you will allocate. Power based on what? Power of machines. If power of machine is not available, value of machines போடலாம். So try this at home. Solution will be there in the next 10 minutes of this video. So try this, complete this. Next class we will see the service department rendering service to production department. Like X will render service to production department as well as other service department. Y will render service to production department as well as what? X and the mari. We are going to see, and we are going to absorb overheads based on material and based on which one? Wages that we learned today. Overheads can be absorbed based on other methods also. Like for example, certain works are done by machines only. Overheads will be depending upon number of hours done, work done in the factory. Okay, overheads will be influenced by number of hours for which the factory is operated, which can be machine based hours or labor based hours and the mari. So how to absorb overheads, those things we will discuss in the next class, but ensure to solve this. Okay, hope you have solved this. Then continuing with this video, solve பண்ணாம continue பண்ணாதீங்க. Hope you have solved this, then continuing playing with the video. Please remember the first one, whatever is given is which material? Indirect material for production department as well as service department they have given. Indirect wages for production department and service department they have given. Please remember it is not direct material. This is which one? Indirect material. Indirect wages. So charge it. Then rent, repair, depreciation we can allocate. Rent based on which one? Area. Repairs based on value of the plant. Depreciation also based on value of the plant. Lighting, light point should have been given. If light points is not available, then based on area. Supervision can be based on number of workers. Insurance on employees will be based on the total wages. Sorry. General insurance is okay. This is insurance given separately for employees. Okay. This insurance is based on stock value. Employees insurance can be based on wages. Power based on what? Horsepower of machines, capacity of the machine that is not available means value of the plant. So this will be your answer. Indirect material already given. Indirect wages already given. Please remember it is not direct material, direct wages. It is indirect material, indirect wages. Rent based on area. Repairs based on plant value. Depreciation based on plant value. Lighting based on area. Supervision based on number of workers. Insurance based on which one? Value of the stock. The insurance on employees based on wages. Power based on which one? Horsepower of the machine is not given, plant value. This is primary distribution, where we allocate expenses or apportion expenses between both production as well as what? Service departments. So next class, what we are going to do is, we'll have 2 or more service department. How to reallocate service department cost to production department when there is a reciprocal service. One service department rendering to other service department. X will render service to ABC as well as Y. Y will render service to ABC as well as what? X. That model we will do to the next class. And we'll also learn about how to absorb overheads based on different bases. Today we learned about which one? How to absorb overheads based on wages. We work out a percentage of wages, material, then we charge overheads. We work out the basis as a percentage of wages, then we charge overheads. Next class we will see other basis of apportioning, which one? Overheads also. Copy this and we will close for today.